greatly bless you. Amen. Yeah, so also I am happy for our brother, Pastor James Mfunavandi, who have managed to come back. We give glory to God. So let's humble ourselves and we pray so that we may enter directly in the Word of God. Loving Heavenly Father, once again we give you thanks because of your love and your protection. Father, knowing that we are precious before you, also we come to thy presence being precious to us. We give you thanks, dear Lord. You have protected us, and because of that, that's why, Lord, my Father, we are able to be in thy presence. I pray that, dear Father, be with us in these meetings. We've gathered together, not for anything else, but to hear from you. May you bless us, dear Father, and talk to us. Reveal your will, which is your word, in our midst, so that the word of truth may, Lord, my Father, give us the way to eternal life. Grant it, dear Lord, in Jesus' name I pray. So, we are going to continue with our teaching from where we stopped, but we are going to read again in Exodus chapter 12, as we read, and Hebrews 11:30. Someone can read Exodus 12, verse 1 to 13. Then we shall read verse 21 to 23, as we did the other time. Exodus 12, from verse 1.
Exodus chapter 12, from verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of the months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak here unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood, and strike it on the two side posts, and on the upper doorposts of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire. His head shall with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it, with your lions guarded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all born in the land of Egypt, and against all the I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I shall see the blood, I will pass over you, And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt.
Then in verse 21 to 23.
Verse 21. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel, and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
Then in verse 29.
Verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle.
Up to 30.
And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead.
Then Hebrews 11 verse 30. Here you see the killing of the lamb was in the evening time. The judgment was in the midnight, where everyone was crying. Then Hebrews 11 verse 30.
Hebrews 11 verse 30. By faith the walls of Jericho fell down, after they were compassed about 7 days.
31.
By faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace.
May God add his blessings on the reading of the word. You can get seated. I am still continuing, but I want to talk deeply on this, accessing the token. I am talking on a life assurance token at the time of judgment. A life assurance token at the time of judgment. Your church is the life assurance. So, there was a question between Egyptians and Israelites. There was a question between the spies and Rahab. How can I be assured that I shall not die, or I will not die? Are you getting it? Yes, sir. So, we passed through many things, and we saw Moses leading the children of Israel out of Egypt. But this life assurance token, at the time of judgment, remember, is given to special people, and that life is not given to every person, but only the seed of God. So, we want to say, how can one access token? In Egypt, the first reason why they were able to get the token, they received the messenger. Rahab, the reason why she received the token, she received the spies. Are you getting it? Yes, and the spies were messengers, having the message of Moses. Glory be to God. In Jericho, when they were crying, Rahab was under protection, and she's a symbol, or she signifies the Gentile bride in prefigure of the Ephesian, as Brother Branham said, that Joshua, his commission was the same as Ephesian in the New Testament, because it was the second Exodus. Are you getting it? So now, representation of the Gentile bride is Rahab. Then here we find that as we began with seeing the seed of Abraham and the message carried out by Eliezer looking for the bride of Isaac. And the bride of Isaac was Rebekah. And this Rebekah was in Babylon, as the same as we are also in Babylon. Are you getting it? So, in this condition, we shall find that when Rebekah was in Babylon, she never knew anything. She never knew that she would be considered among the children of God, always to be married to the son of the king. And this king is the owner of all things. So our message, we found that we are coming out of Babylon, which is called the darkness, and the darkness is the same as the life we lived before we believed the message. Then in this condition, we find also that Rebekah was from Babylon, which was dark place, and everything is called dark because there is no light. Light is life. She was not assured of any life. In Babylon there is no life. In Babylon there is no light, because there is no word of God, which is the word of life. Are you getting it? Which is the Egypt. So, she was called out by Eliezer, and we reflected it to Revelation 18 to bring her into the marriage to the Lamb. We saw that Revelation 18 was showing the Babylon and the bride of Satan in Babylon. Revelation 19, it was showing the marriage of the Lamb with the Gentile bride, which same as Isaac getting married to Rebekah. So in Genesis